Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the thing is so delightful. Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. There are a selection of movies. You know, people talk about summer movies and Christmas movies and whatever else. I have a selection of cold weather movies once it starts to actually get cold outside, which usually around these parts isn't until January, and doesn't last all that long. But The Thing is the movie that I throw in every January, sometimes more often. It's a perfect horror film. I think it's the greatest horror film of all time. And I have some mixed feelings about this particular figure because I do love dogs, and this scene in this movie is actually pretty difficult for me to watch every single time I watch it. But it's a work of art. The effects are unbelievable. And here's a figure commemorating that scene from that movie. I had to have it. I lucked out on the Target Bullseye eBay and got one for significantly less than the asking price. You know, you take a chance with that. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you get a box with like some Malomars or something in it. But I got lucky this time. So now it's time to review The Thing Ultimate Dog Creature action figure. This art is incredible. Like, this is one of the best boxes NECA has ever put out, and that's really saying something because they're a company that clearly pride themselves on putting out memorable, incredible box art. But this one, I mean, look at this. This is crazy. It looks like a metal album. It's just gorgeous. Artwork on the side. Just that logo again, and then on the back you can see the LP loss prevention sticker. But I don't know what the deal was with this one because both of the circular tabs are still in place here. I don't know. You've got some shots of the toy. The back of the box is not, obviously the dioramas are flawless, but as far as what they've depicted here, maybe not the best efforts we've ever seen from NECA, but it doesn't matter because everybody knows what they're getting into with this box set, which includes 30 interchangeable parts for thing creature customization, articulated jaws, wired tentacles, and over 40 points of articulation. And then on the bottom, of course, as with every NECA product, everybody that was involved with bringing this work of art to life. Let's open it up. Let's get in here. Well, we've got our window box with an image of one of the configurations of the figure. And then you can see there's a part rattling around loose in here, but that pops right back on. This is all designed to be modular and interchangeable. So we're going to have to get into it and figure out just what this is supposed to look like. And hopefully I didn't overlook something and there is some like missing piece or something, but it looks like this is intact. And it just ended up, for whatever reason, on Target's eBay store as a loss prevention recovery. Inside the box, you've got a thicker than normal backer. Let me go ahead and finish breaking this down while I'm here. Because as awesome as this box is, I will not be keeping it because I just don't do that. So you've got a little thicker than normal backer inside the box. Cardboard, a little sturdier, a little thicker. You could potentially display the figure with this. It looks great. The diorama work that is done at NECA is just gorgeous. I mean, look at just the individual. I'm sure this is from like a model train store or something, but still, this stuff is great. And now we get to the figure itself. These several layers of trays involved in packing this figure into the box. And, my gosh, something that is almost unprecedented from NECA, and that is instructions. That's how complex this figure is the company that generally expects you to figure it out on your own. It's NECA is the your dad of toy companies. I don't know. Figure it out. Maybe that's just my dad. I don't know. But look at this. I can't remember, and look, I haven't bought every NECA release ever, although I have been collecting from the start since 2000. I can't remember a NECA figure ever coming with instructions. So this just shows you what an effort, what a singular piece this ultimate dog creature is. So I'm going to set those off to the side. I'm going to try to remember to look at them as I'm going through and unpacking everything here, which, as you may have seen recently with the Mezco Roadblock unboxing, I don't always do. Lots of tape holding everything in place. That's okay. We want it to be nice and sturdy. We want our adult collectible to make it to us intact. Oh, gross. This is, I think, even though I am kind of sensitive to dog trauma, I guess you would say, this is just such a landmark piece of, you know, not just horror movie history, but cinema history, that I feel I have to own it. So before we get any further, I have to say that there's one thing that's not entirely fair to NECA that is going to color my impressions of their figure at least a little bit. Maybe it's fair, maybe it's not, I don't know. But looking at this dog figure, which is great, the sculpt is great, aside from the very visible seams back here. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But fantastic paint. Let's zoom in a little bit here. The glossy eyes look great. I mean, this is for what we know from NECA, this is a great looking figure of a husky, right? Yeah, and that's another reason we've got a little husky here at home. I'm talking about myself. We have an actual husky mix here in the house, so this is even more like sort of traumatizing. But so I look at this, and sure, it looks great. The sculpt is nice, but unfortunately for NECA, there's no way around the fact that we have this. Now, this is the repaint because it was easier for me to get to, but we have this from Hasbro that is a fully articulated, incredible, like one of the greatest animal action figures of all time, if not the greatest. And even though this timber and this wolf, or this dog, are trying to accomplish completely different things and are not meant to be toys that are competing at all. This is an action figure designed to be posed and played with and used like it's an action. It needs the articulation. This is honestly more of a diorama piece meant to be modular and interchangeable. It's trying to accomplish something different, but there's no way around the fact that in my head, I'm seeing this and I'm thinking this is a little weak. I mean, I'm sorry. And look, if that outrages you, if you don't see what I'm saying, please tell me in the comments, like, that's unreasonable. But I cannot help but compare this to this. And I know aesthetically even, obviously this one has all the visible joints and this one is, you know, just different. It's not fair to compare these, but as a toy collector who collects a wide range of things, I can't help but look at this and think that's a little underwhelming. But we'll see why this is made the way it is as we move through this unboxing. All right, let's get all these pieces out. I guess sort of take inventory of all of the tongues and tentacles and skulls and brains and viscera and whatever else is packed in here. Ugh, what is this even? It's amazing. It's amazing is what it is. It's a again, if you haven't seen The Thing, and I got to imagine if you're watching this, you have probably seen The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. This transformation is, everybody talks all the time about An American Werewolf in London and how incredible that transformation is, and rightfully so. It is the greatest werewolf transformation of its era. Practical effects. But this, every sequence in The Thing involving the creature is, you look at it and you just wonder, how is this happening? How did they do this? And some of it's stop motion, some of it's in camera trickery, but it's all practical, and it's all just mind-blowing, unbelievable, nothing like it in the history of cinema. Ugh, just wretched, horrifying thing. I love this movie so much that every few years I'll go back and watch the prequel that I absolutely detested, just because I want more like it. Like, how when there's something you love and there's just not quite enough of it, like you want more of a TV show or more of a movie or whatever the case may be. This is a case where I want more of this creature, more of the world of The Thing so badly that I'll go back and give that prequel another chance from time to time. I'm always disappointed, but it's about time to maybe give it another shot. And maybe what I need to do is watch it, because I haven't watched The Thing, the original, since last January. So maybe I need to go watch that remake when there's been just a nice gap of time and I'm not directly comparing it to this is uncomfortable to touch. All the little flagella, horrifying. And then these are just straight up insect legs, which is also horrifying. The concept is that the alien creature has no context for what Earth creatures actually are. So it's recreating and recombining the biology of just everything that it runs into without having an understanding of the separation between humans, wolves, insects, flies, whatever. That it's just absorbing all of these things and reconstituting them, and it's just truly horrifying and disturbing. And it's realized in just an incredible way. All of these tentacles, let's just dump those out. Or not. I guess we can't just dump those out. Okay. Whew. I'm going to take a break here. Okay, I'm back. I had to. This is how cold it is here right now. I had to regulate my heater down here a little bit. I had to turn on the heater for the first time down here in the workshop, and get a little drink of water because I've been talking a lot today. We just guested on a podcast from the Pit, a great G.I. Joe podcast. We're on their live stream. This thing just bit me. I have holes in my finger. I wonder if there's blood. Looks like that one was close. Right there, that one was close to drawing blood. So pointy little fangs in this beastie. Be careful when you're working that jaw loose. Don't just jam your finger in there like I did, like an idiot. Of course, the articulation. This is going to be just absolute candy for toy photographers. I mean, we're not even going to get through all the points of articulation here in this video. I just want you to get a close-up look at all the visceral nastiness. Let's get... So this is the appendage. It's the proper term, because I can't rightfully call it a leg or a paw or anything else. This is the appendage that came off in the packaging. Pop that right back on. Just this nasty puckered mess. And I've got the old McFarlane Movie Maniacs releases. I still have the original Thing figures of that. A lot of glued on parts, by the way. But the details, seeing this nastiness all up close is just striking and horrifying in a completely different way. Just the way, imagine being a toy designer and just figuring out how to even articulate some of these parts. Like how do they bend? What joints do you put in? Is this a double jointed elbow? Is this more like a knee? What is this? What range does it need to have? Where does it need to go? Again, toy photographers are going to lose their minds because there's so many options here of how to do things. Just all of the teeth. This is a must-have figure for toy fans only because of the amount of research that must have gone into creating this. This might be the most complex sculpt that has ever been recreated in toy form. Think about the hundreds of hours of examining film stills that must have gone into all the little bits and like, where is this part? Where does this go? What do we make this? What is this even? That's another thing. If somebody's sculpting a Ninja Turtle action figure, then they know this is the hand, this is the foot, this is the shell, and they have context and they can build off of that. With this thing, it's literally just this mass of disgusting, horrifying viscera, innards, and teeth and fangs. Nothing, I don't think anything like this has ever been done before. This is a three-dimensional Hieronymus Bosch brought to life. This is unprecedented. I'm willing to say. And if there's anything else even close to this, tell me in the comments. Let me know, hey, this other thing was done like this way back in the day. And yes, again, the McFarlane stuff came out, the Movie Maniacs, but it's not on this level. So let's see. Let's figure out some of the configurations. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and roll through every single thing you can do with this. I just want you to get a chance to get an up-close and personal look at all of the different facets of this incredible. Look at that. That's on a joint. You can swivel that tentacle around. Oh my gosh, what? Okay. This rotates, and also, and I'm going to be very, very careful with it here because it's painted and I'm afraid it might be a bit rigid, but this is on you can see on a pivot here as well. As is this. Okay, that one moves a little more easily. This is unbelievable. And it appears this is a bendy wire. So the rest of this tentacle, which by the way, wherever it plugs in, is on a pivot. Oh, this is also a bendy. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. So look at the size of this single tentacle. And then you've got all of these other ones, same thing. They're on a ball peg with a disc, pivot, whatever you want to call that kind of joint. But they are all painted. So I'm going to recommend being very, very careful loosening these up. And you are probably going to lose some of that paint because that's just how NECA rolls, as we've seen in many other reviews. But looks pretty good so far. So that one's moving all right. This double tentacle here. Look at that. Both of these. So your posability on these is just... This is crazy. I am now feeling... Because I thought the price on this was a little stiff, I'll be honest. But now getting into it and seeing all of the articulation, the way all of these joints function, this one's not a bendy, it's just flexible. It doesn't have a wire armature in it, but it still has, all of these have the peg and the pivot. And then the bug legs, which I don't even want to touch, they're so disgusting. The bug legs have the same peg and movement there. And again, you're just going to have to go through and loosen all these up, which I'm not going to do right now because nobody wants to see that. But then also a point of articulation at the joint right there. Tell me that's not one too. Okay, that's not one. Ugh. Horrifying. Horrifying madness. All right, so I think that's pretty much all the pieces we've gotten a nice close look at. Now let's take a look at the creature and the different things that happen here. Oh my gosh. So that head pops off. So we will not be using that any further at the moment. And then this nasty bit pops on there. I don't want to have to heat all of this up because we're talking about like a long time to get all these parts going. So that is horrifying. Do I have to put a content warning on this video? I don't know. I hope not. No strikes. Come on, no strikes. No whammies. You've got the tongue pops in there, which is horrifying. And then, oh, what? Oh my gosh. Okay, so wait. The tongue goes in there. And then the jaw, the skull goes over the tongue. If they had not included instructions with this, I never, ever would have figured any of this out. And then this piece just snaps onto, you don't want to get your little things stuck in there. So that just snaps onto the back of the dog. That goes back on. And then we get some tentacle action here, because you can see all of these holes where you can peg in. You've got a longer tongue that is a bendy on a wire. It'll plug right in there. And this is all just insanity and madness. It's terrible. I don't know what kind of sick people came up with all this, but they're the worst. Yeah, it is a little cold down here to be dealing with plastic that needs to be more malleable than it currently is. So here is, you actually have two potential figures here because you have one using the dog body with the insect legs. So you actually are getting two figures out of this. I'll set that one aside. And then there is this heinous creature that this snaps onto some. Oh, you pull off this part maybe? I can't tell what's going on here. This is absolutely repulsive. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on a stop. I'm going to heat some things up, get these all put together, and we're going to take a look at the final product. So this is a little confusing. Let's see here in the diagram, it shows multiple interchangeable parts, and it's got some of the tentacles coming out of the dog's, out of here, but none of the tentacle pegs are big enough to plug into those spots. Like, they just don't stay. So unless I'm missing something, that just doesn't work. I don't know if maybe, see, that's not the part they're referencing though. It looks like maybe this one could be one of them, although they're all, let's see. I mean, I guess maybe they're thinking you just shove it in there and that this part, this thicker part, stays in. But I gotta say, it doesn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe that does work all right. So maybe that is what you're supposed to do there. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes of me warming and plugging and pulling and figuring, and the conclusion I've arrived at is there is no right way to make your thing. So you combine these parts however you want. If you want to sit down and watch the movie, I highly recommend you do that. Mix things up, look at it frame by frame, figure out what kind of monstrosity you want on your shelf. I don't know if this is the final configuration I'm going to stick with, but it does seem appropriately horrifying. So we have one creature here that is many parts kind of plugged in together. You can see paws. You can see, looks like maybe an eye right down in there. There's that jaw that bit me earlier. Everything is articulated. I highly, highly, highly recommend you heat everything up. But once you do heat it up and then it cools back down, everything stays put relatively well. So there is one creature possibility. This is like the moduloc of NECA horror, if you will. And then your other creature that you get out of this set is this nasty, which I wish this back piece stayed on a little bit better than it does. It kind of just sits there. I don't love that. I wish it clipped a little more thoroughly. And when you're putting on these insect legs, don't be freaked out if this part just pops right out. It's designed to do that. So when you're articulating them or moving them around, it's going to feel like it just broke, and it didn't. So here, going back to these, this is my issue. is that the tentacles, all of the tentacles have this smaller ball, and they just don't plug into these joints very well. So, you know, to go back to our figure photographer friends, for figure photography, this is going to be fine because you're going to pose this however you want and just kind of stick it in there, and it's just going to sit for your photo. But I do wish there was a little better connectivity there, and there just doesn't seem to be. And you guys always are really good about letting me know if I've missed something. So if there is something I'm supposed to be doing here that I'm missing, if I'm just not pushing them in far enough, which I think I've been pushing them in as far as they'll go, but, you know, let me know if I'm missing something, because it is entirely possible. But I feel like I've tried to plug those in as far as I can, and they just don't. So let's zoom back out. That is one horrible beastie, two horrible beasties, complete too. This isn't like fudging things or you know, leaving a part off. This is, when you buy this set, you get two complete creatures that you can make in many different configurations. So there you go. Maybe you need two of this set. I don't know. I just need the one. I don't know where I'm going to find space for it on the shelf, but I am, because, again, this is a landmark toy, moment in horror, everything. This is a must-have for me. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. These are not needless things. These are things that you need. Until next time, watch out for those pointy fangs.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.